Hello everyone. These are the 5 points I believe necessary for building a meaningful bond with your partner. These are what are these? White hair. It's natural, it's part of the process. Coming back to our topic of interest. The 5 points are accountability, emotional intelligence, intellectual compatibility, conflict resolution, and stability. For me, these five are really something that I value. I'm going to start by defining them, providing you some examples. What are these, how to identify them, etc. And why are they important? Let's start with accountability. For me, accountability is to be able to take responsibility of your actions, your words, and their impact on your partner. Because this creates a space for growth and repair. It is to be able to acknowledge what you did without making excuses, deflecting blames, and minimizing the impact. Accountability is understanding how your behavior affected your partner, even though it might not be your intention. Because impact matters regardless of intent. Write that down. Impact matters regardless of intent. So now we have defined what is accountability. Okay. In a nutshell, it's to take ownership of your actions, good or bad. But let's look at the example to understand it better. Like, how do you see it unfold in real life? Let's suppose this is a scenario where you hurt me unintentionally. अनजाने में, you said something, and now I'm hurt. मेरे को घाव लग गया है, मैं दुखी हूँ, मेरे को दर्द हो गया है. ठीक है? There are two ways you can approach this. The good way, you can acknowledge the fact that yes, you realize that you hurt me and you're sorry about it. Like, I hurt you because you hurt me, but I'm not proud of what I said. Or, I'm sorry, my, uh, I'm sorry that what I said hurt you. It made you feel bad. I understand that. And we can work towards it. I would like to improve it. This is someone accountable addressing it. Whereas, let's look at the shady side. That would be someone responding in similar ways. I hurt you because you hurt me. Okay? But where is the part where you accept that yes, whatever I have said is also bitter? It is hurtful. No? I hurt you because you hurt me. So it's action and reaction. But you are not taking any kind of accountability or ownership of your bitter words. No? Or maybe you can say, listen to this, that I only said that because you did dash dash dash. You said dash dash dash. This is not accountability. This is blaming. But sometimes, as I said, action has a reaction. There is a fine line and it can get blurred from time to time. So it can be hard to identify, to spot this. But there is an easier way and it's more common than you think. You know, it is to see how a person apologizes. Let's continue with the scenario where I'm hurt. Suppose but suppose an accountable person is apologizing. What would be their statements? I understand I've hurt you and I'm sorry. Let's resolve this. Or how can I make up to you? How can we resolve? Let's talk about it. Why did it make you feel this way? Why did my statements or my actions made you feel this way? Or it was not my intention to hurt you, but my actions have hurt you. So how can we make this work? You know, what kind of change we can do so that you are not hurt from now on or you feel more comfortable. This is someone accountable. Where is someone unaccountable? Shady person. What will they say? I'm sorry that you feel this way. They are not taking any accountability that yes, they have indeed spoken some bitter words, some harsh words, some they have made some destructive remarks. They are saying you that I'm sorry that you feel this way. So I said what was honest and what was nice and exactly how it should be, but it is on you that you feel sad. This is, in a way, minimizing the impact. They're escaping from the responsibility or from taking the ownership of their own words or actions. So, how a person apologizes tells you a lot about them. If they can take ownership of their own words, ownership of their own actions, and good or bad, then you would say that they are accountable. And they can't, then you can say shady. There is one more thing which is very subtle, and people often mask this with accountability. That, oh, I am accountable, I apologized, I said sorry. I call this pseudo accountability or fake accountability. No, pseudo accountability, more sophisticated. What is pseudo accountability? It is to apologize just for the sake of apologizing. What do I mean by that? Just because you want to end the conflict, you are apologizing without genuinely understanding or wanting to address the real issue here. So, here you are doing a pseudo accountability. It feels like, yes, I said sorry, I accepted my mistake, it's good, but I'm not going to make any change in my behavior. So, you show that you are taking accountability, but you are not. So, it's pseudo, it's fake. And what happens with this is you think that you are moving on. You think you are moving on. Sorry, bol diya na. Let's move on. But after some days, due to XYZ reasons, you are again in the same pattern. You are again in a conflict. And then, what will you do? Say sorry and move on. Then you will survive in this relationship, not thrive in it. How will you thrive in it? You will thrive in it when you actually communicate that what is the underlying issue here. But in order to communicate, you have to take accountability. You have to accept at least your end. And then once you take this, you can start making some amends. उसको आप ठीक करने की, बेहतर बनाने की कोशिश कर सकते हो, पर पहले गलती तो माननी होगी ना. Now, how to improve that or how can we actually address that is a totally different topic of conversation, which we will speak in some other episodes. How to make these amends. Now, why is this important? What happens when you don't take accountability? When you don't take accountability, you do not communicate, and you are basically putting everything under the rug. Sorry. Then आगे गए. And then some days again, it is repeating. It's a vicious cycle. But what happens here is, what is happening? You tell me, if you are not able to express your emotions, what will happen? You'll suppress them, yes, and you will build resentment. towards the same person you actually love or want to spend your life with or want to build something beautiful, meaningful, a long lasting, janmo janmo ka pyar. But because you're not actually allowing yourself to have any kind of communication, because you cannot accept your own mistakes honestly or do some kind of introspection, you are putting it under the rug. And then there is lot of suppressed resentment. And one day it's going to come out because it always does. And it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be volatile and ugly. We do not want that. We want to thrive in a relationship. And how can we do that? By taking accountability, by at least accepting your end of the problem, by at least taking the ownership of your action. हाँ मुझसे गलती हुई. Yes, I made a mistake and I will improve it. Accountability is not just accepting the mistake, it is also actively wanting to work on it. And not just for your partner, for yourself. Accountability is not something limited to just relationship. It is it plays a strong it plays a big role, I would say, in personal growth. Are you someone who acknowledges their mistake, or are you someone who acknowledges their mistake but only after being confronted? Who are you? खुद में सोचो, खुद में आंसर करो. But if you are someone who wants to understand that कैसे उसको rectify करना है, how you want to actually work on it actively, then you are an accountable person. Who doesn't commit mistakes? I am flawed. I commit mistake left and right. But it helps me understand better. And when you start to take accountability, you open the possibilities of communication. You actually make your relationship stronger than it was before this conflict or before this conversation. Because you understand each other better, and you start to understand when you first start to accept yourself, good and a bad, good things and mistakes, everything. That would be accountability for me. For the other points that I mentioned, I'll make more episodes because each point is not something black and white which I can just mention in one paragraph and be done with it. I would like to define them, give examples so that we can identify what is what and why it is important. If you feel what I said resonates with you, or I missed out on some important point, or if you want me to discuss any other aspect which you find important, not just in relationship, about anything, do let me know. We are here to have uncomfortable conversations, but in a respectful and civil manner. Okay? This feels like presentation almost. Sorry, I'm new to this. However, do not hesitate to let me know your thoughts. And I apologize for the times I have fumbled and made some mistakes. Bear with me as I learn. Thank you. See you in the next episode. Bye bye. Bisous. Cardi. What is you wanting?